Hi, this is Kim. I'm your unit convener and I'm going to take you through your first assessment task for TEP427. So this first assessment task, you are going to be given a program which I'm asking you to annotate. You're going to write an assessment task that matches your newly annotated program, and you're going to provide a justification for your annotations and the assessment task. It's due on the 15th of April, as you see here, by 1 minute to midnight on that date. It's worth 50% of your assessment tasks for the semester. There's only 2 assessment tasks in TEP427, that's why there's such a high weighting there. So in this task, as I've said, you're required to annotate a program. The program is available, it's already sitting on your iLearn site, and you are annotating it or making modifications to that program to make it suitable to use in a different type of context. Now, the different context is listed here for you under Part A. So you take the program that I've provided for you, which is sitting on the iLearn site, and you need to annotate it so that it's suitable for students where they're, or in a school where there are students with high ESL needs, where there are students who have autism, and where there is at least one gifted and talented class in the year group. It's safe to assume that the program I've given you does not meet the learning needs of that grouping of students. Excuse me. So when you annotate your program, I'm asking that you type your annotations to the program. I provided you with a Word doc, so please just open that up as a Word doc. And all I want you to do is to type inside the document using size 12 font, and please make it red. Oh, look here, red. Yes, there you go. Please make your annotations in red so that it's just really easy for the marker to see your annotations and to follow that through when we mark them for you. When you have done your annotations, and your annotations do need to be underpinned by relevant pedagogical literature. Pedagogical literature means research which is in teaching and learning. Now, you might find some research which is based within history classrooms, but you will probably be accessing sort of a wide variety of the pedagogical literature about teaching children with autism, or teaching children with high ESL needs, or teaching gifted and talented. I think that the most of the literature that you will access to underpin your annotations, it will mainly come from those general contexts. You won't find a lot necessarily which is specifically about those areas in relation to a history classroom. So you need to do some research first before you begin your annotations, and you will return to that research quite explicitly in the Part C, the justification. But before I skip on to Part C, if we just have a look at Part B here, Part B requires you to design an assessment task and marking guidelines that is clearly linked to your annotated program. So whatever you choose to do in terms of making that program fit the new context you've been given, you need to design an assessment task that will meet the needs of that new group of students that we've described. So students with autism, gifted and talented students, and students with high ESL needs. You must make sure that your assessment task has all the professional requirements of a task. You can find examples on the NESA website. We'll be referring to examples in tutorials as well, and they're already available on the iLearn site. Your assessment task can take any form that you feel is appropriate to your annotated program. If you do choose to do a test item, please just be aware that you must create a task notification, the test paper, as well as the marking guidelines. If I don't see that test paper, I'm trying to change colours here. If I don't see that test paper, then I'm not sure whether or not what you plan to do with the test is clear just through a task notification. So if you're doing a test item, you need to do all through 3 of that notification, test paper, and marking guidelines. Okay, then so that's Part A and B of the task I've dealt with there. Part C of the task is your justification. You have 500 words plus or minus 10%. If you go to the marking criteria, you'll see that there's an allowance there of plus or minus 10% on the word count. So you need to draw on the relevant pedagogical literature. Now that should be what you use to make your annotations to the program, so this shouldn't be new in this section. And you're going to justify the amendments you made to your program and the assessment task that you've designed that sits with this particular program. You've only got 500 words to do that, so you really need to be quite succinct and to the point here. That's what succinct means, doesn't it? Sorry. Together with this justification, you need to provide an accurately formatted reference list. Use the APA style. That's the accepted format in studies in education. Now, when you submit your assessment task, please make sure that in your Word doc that you have a new page for each new section of the task. Please label each section of your task Part A, Part B, Part C. You want to make it easy for the marker to navigate through your response. Excuse me. All parts of the task must be submitted in one document, okay, and converting your file to PDF will certainly help maintain the document formatting when you load it up into Turnitin. It's always worthwhile, and this is something you need to teach your own students, to be having a good look at the performance descriptors. Okay, at school context we call these marking guidelines. These tell you what the markers are going to be looking for. So in order for you to achieve an HD, what the marker will be looking for is that consistent evidence of integration, evaluation of critical ideas relevant to meeting the needs of ESL, autistic, gifted and talented students. We will be looking for a professional and engaging assessment task that's really quite clearly linked to the annotated program, has to be linked to your annotated program. We're looking for a succinct and sophisticated justification that is clearly and consistently underpinned by educational theory. That's very important. As I said earlier, you have to reference, use APA style, and you've got plus or minus 10% there with the word count. You can work your way down there and see what the lower grade levels are looking for. If you have a question about your assessment task, please, you can send me an email if you need me to answer it. You can participate in the group discussion, which is on your iLearn, and ask other students. Ultimately, though, if it's a question about the nuts and bolts of the assessment task, that's best to direct it to me. Any questions that I get directed to me, I will post the question and the answer through the announcements, so that all students across the 3 tutorials that are running have exactly the same information about the assessment task. Of course, I will post that question without your name linked to it, so I will not identify you, but I will just make the question and the answer available to all students. Okay, I hope that's helpful. I'll be seeing a lot of you in class soon, and like I said, be in touch if you need some further guidance on this task. Thank you. Bye now.